it was a tremendous threat of evil. I mean, it was a very personal experience of evil.
Out here in the street saying Trump and Pence must go. Trump is in Philadelphia right now.
To struggle with all we've got.
To struggle with all we've got.
To demand.
To demand.
This nightmare must end.
This nightmare must end.
The Trump-Pence regime must go.
The Trump-Pence regime
must go.
Trump-Pence
Must go.
Trump-Pence must go. Trump-Pence
Must go.
Trump-Pence
Must go.
Trump-Pence
Must go.
Trump-Pence must go. Trump-Pence must go. Must go. Trump-Pence
Must go.
do a dialogue.
Must go. Trump-Pence must go. Trump-Pence must go. Trump-Pence must go. Trump-Pence must go.
Take a coat hanger.
Trump-Pence must go.
Friends are passing out coat hangers because when abortion is illegal, women die. And that is the program of the Trump-Pence regime. These aren't separate outrages. It's one connecting thing, and what connects it all is fascism. That's what connects it all. And so we're passing out these hangers
Two more.
because they are remaking the courts in a fascist direction to slam women back to the dark ages. Nothing short of that. And if we don't stop a fascist SCOTUS, it doesn't matter if it's Kavanaugh. They're going to put somebody else in there that hates women just as much. So we're passing out coat hangers, and we're going to get on the ground if we are able to.
And we're going to do a die-in.
We're going to do a die-in for all the women that are counting on us to act.
We're going to do a countdown.
We're going to count down.
And if you can, lay down on the ground.
Or hold it way up high. Hold it way up high.
What we know right now is that Trump is in there speaking. This is the best time for us to speak out and actually do the dying, that his program is a fascist program, but his program also means that people are dying, that immigrant children are going to die and are dying, that women will die when abortion is illegal, that LGBT community members are dying now and will continue in outrageous numbers die under the Trump-Pence program. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's okay.
I hope we get back up again.
Oh my God.
I hope we get back.
Shall we do it?
Rise up for the people of the world.
Rise up for
Rise up for the people of the world.
Rise for the world. Rise up. Rise up for the people of the world. For the people of the world. Rise up. Rise up for the people of the world. For the people. Well, rise up. Rise up for the women of the world. For the women of the world. Rise up. Rise up for the women of the world. For the women of the world. Rise up. Rise up for the women of the world. For the women of the world. Rise up.
To be with them.
Hi, we're with Refuse Fashion Philadelphia. Trump came to Philadelphia. We're out here still protesting. We're having a speak out right now. Check it out.
Even from the pressure of the financial crises we all suffer, mostly because our government doesn't care about the very people that allow them. Allow them. I cannot say that enough. Allow them. You are in your positions of authority because we voted you there. We put you there to look out for us and our interests. And all you do now is stuff your pockets with our blood, our sweat, and our tears. We have no more to give to you. Woo! Everything else that we do have will be used to take you down and to stop the senseless violence, the senseless hate. Where we all do different, we're all still the same. All we're trying to do is get through this life 1 minute, 1 day, 1 hour at a time. The only thing that I wish on Trump and Pence. The only thing. I do not wish death on you. I do not wish hatred on you. I do not wish a pox on you. The only thing I wish on you, and whatever God is listening, the only thing I want you to feel for once in your God-forsaken life is shame.
Shame! 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 That's shame! Shame! Shame!
Shame of the families that you are destroying. You, plain and simple, for all of you who say that you are pro-life, you sure as hell do kill a hell of a lot of people. And the best thing that we can do, the easiest thing that we can do, is register, vote, be as loud as you possibly can so they can't ignore you. Be heard, vote, change things. You have that power. You have that ability to change what is wrong. And we must continue to be that unity and bring about that change.
So there's a whole lot that I want to unite with what you just said. There is a lot of truth that you just spoke about the dangers that we face. But we got to take a sober look at reality right now. This is fascism. We were able to vote it in, but now that it's in power, it's eviscerating the very mechanisms that could stop it.
Love it.
You know, they're criminalizing dissent, they're shredding the rule of law, they're slamming women back to the dark ages, they're terrorizing immigrants, and none of this is going to stop unless the people take to the streets and stop it.
Yeah.
And the truth is the matter that everything that brought people out today should be bringing people out every day. And it's on us to bring people out in mass. Because we can't be relying on the Democratic Party, we can't be relying on those in power. We need to be relying on ourselves to be the emancipators of humanity. And that's not the same as telling people not to vote, but what it is telling people is that the action that we take is what's decisive. And that's why I'm putting the announcement out here. There will be more about it, but the day after the election, people need to come out into the streets. And people need to be saying, no matter what happens, this nightmare must end. The Trump-Pence regime must go. As long as this regime is in power, it is a danger to all of humanity.
Can I download it?
And we will drive them out. And I want to hand the mic over to a sister who, upon leaving school, came out to protest. So let's give it up to her. Let's give it up.
As a 13-year-old in this generation, I'm afraid of a lot of things. Like not getting into any high schools, or our school becoming the fascist regime it's currently on the road to being. I have been an activist probably since my mom took me to my first protest.
Go, Mom!
And all I want is a world where I don't have to worry about future, about not being sold a home because I identify as queer or something like that. Fun stuff, you know? And because I am incredibly nervous right now and hate this, I'm gonna pass to the mic to my friend. Hi.
My name is Ellie. I'm also 13. This is my friend Jai, and I came here with Jai's mom because I believe that Trump and Pence need to go.
That's right!
Someone on the board for Richard Green.
Hi, everybody.
Woo!
How you doing? Are you angry? Yes! Did Donald Trump have the audacity to come to Philadelphia? Yes! When you heard about it, did you say ew? Yes! Let me hear you say ew! Yes! How do we feel about Donald Trump? Ew! Yes! Is he disgusting? Yes! And we don't care about what you look like, Donald Trump. We don't care about the strange things about your physical thing. We don't care about that. We
sisters. You cannot,
That's
right. You cannot put children in cages. That is not the right way. Do you agree?
Yes!
Let's tell Donald Trump as loudly as we can that he's doing the wrong thing. Let's say ew one more time.
Ew!
Thank you.
Crystal. Wallace? Does anybody else want to speak while you're here? While you're here?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for coming out today, and thanks to the weather for cooperating. I'm not going to take much time up here because I want to hear some from people in general who maybe don't get a chance to speak very often, especially the women. Let's get more female voices up here. It'd be about time, if you ask me. But as for the guy who just passed by singing the praises of everybody's favorite Orange Man, I just like to point out sometimes, especially lately, whenever I see those kinds of people walking by and shouting, get a job, get a life, get this, get that, or praising the Orange Man and his ilk to the limit and then some, I see one common demographic, only one. They're all white guys. Every last one of them. They're all white guys.
Some of them are not.
This is where really I feel lots of the Orange Man's appeal has come from let's face it, the last few years since the campaign started in 2015. That white guys, you know what? I've said this before. I've never pretended to be anything other than a white guy from the freaking suburbs. I've never claimed anything otherwise. But this isn't about me, and that's not the point. White guys in general are just going to have to face the fact sooner or later that they aren't running the entire world anymore, let alone the United States. And that's as it should be, because everybody here knows that, because if the American dream, the so-called American dream is so important to us, why can't everybody have a crack at it? What do you want to do? Turn the clock back to the 1950s? I sure don't want to. None of you do either. Forget about that. That's not going to happen. We all know that. No, it's not going to happen, but other people don't know that. So maybe white guys in general, from Maine to California, from Alaska to the Florida Keys, should just start facing the fact that they aren't going to run everything anymore, and that's just the way it is.
You know what?
And they have to deal with it. So I'm going to finish up now, and my message to people in general is please read great. Well, that's great, yeah. Please read Margaret Atwood's novel, The Handmaid's Tale, published in 1985, more than 3 decades ago. I dare say more relevant than ever. Please read The Handmaid's Tale, especially if you want to get the men in general to read it if they haven't.
I was going to do that next.
I can't comment on the television adaptation because I haven't even caught a glimpse of it. But please read the novel and hang in there. We've got all kinds of events in the days ahead, so please stay informed and keep fighting. And tell the Orange Man and the former Indiana governor there to go crawl back in their Neanderthal caves where they came from.
Yes!
Which, of course, isn't Neanderthal.
I know. Don't mean to chill.
Thank you, Wallace. I'm going to ask Hector. Hector's going to come up and speak in a minute. I just wanted to do one more plug, because the truth of the matter is that it's the right thing to do to be out here today. You know, people should really give it up for themselves. Some people were like me and left work early, and some people took the whole day off. Some people came after work. No matter what it was, you are in the right place. You know, you are holding in your hearts the hopes and aspirations of the 7 billion people on the planet whose lives depend on us driving out this fascist regime. So I just want to give it up one more time for you. And I want to make sure that you leave today with the refusefascism.org call to action. This is the battle plan for how we end this nightmare.
Anyone want
This is how we get out of this. So I want to make sure that you don't leave with just one, that you take a step, and that you also get this little flyer with our upcoming event, so you can be involved. Because it's going to take everybody bringing forward thousands of people to bring forward the millions that are capable of driving out this regime. Come on in.
Hey, what's up? I'm just going to keep this nice little. The seeds of Trump did not come out of nowhere. Trump did not come out of nowhere. It came from the people who were afraid of when their next meal was going to be. It came from the people who were afraid of walking on the streets or when their jobs were going to be taken away. It was created by people who were scared. They were scared, and Trump and everybody that stood behind him took advantage of that fear. And it's this type of power that he had that turned everybody against each other. Every poor person against a poor person, every black person against a black person, every queer against queer, every oppressed person against another oppressed. And he played on that. And we're here yelling at Trump, saying, you need to get out, but who are we going to replace him by? Another person that's not going to do anything else for us? Because the ultimate thing is, not only is Trump trying to get back to the regime, he's going to do nothing but keep his power rising and keeping us oppressed. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Julia's going to come up, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say. I do want to say that, look, Trump came from a country founded on white supremacy. That's where he came from. And no, if we drive him out, we're not going to drive out white supremacy. But it's going to be a hell of a start. And refusefascism.org is made up of a diverse group of people. People that believe in the hope and promise of America and its democratic ideals, and people like me who think we need to overthrow this system. That it's thoroughly rotten. And no good can come of it. And we've got to stand shoulder to shoulder, because what we face is a nightmare. So, with a lot of love, I say, this came from a place. It didn't just come from people being talked down to or feeling alienated. It came from white supremacy. So, Julia. Sorry, Julia.
Hi guys, I won't take up too much of your time, but I just want to say I'm pissed off that Donald Trump is in Philadelphia today.
That's right, me too.
Man, Mike Pence is a bad man.
Very bad.
Kavanaugh is a bad man.
That's right.
I don't believe a word he says. Because he's a fucking liar. I 100% believe Christine Blasey Ford. And I believe every one of my friends who has told me they've been assaulted. I have a 15-year-old son. I'm not afraid that a girl's going to falsely accuse him of assault. I'm afraid his girlfriends are going to get raped or assaulted, because this country does not believe women. And it's bullshit. Donald Trump, you need to go! Woo! Do not belong on the Supreme Court. Woo! You're a bad man, and you all need to go.
That's right. Do you want to speak? Okay. Okay. And then Sam, he wants to speak afterwards.
Lori's going to come up and speak.
So 1, 2, and then.
Hi, fellow Pennsylvanians. Who here is from Pennsylvania? Woo! Who here is Senator Toomey's constituent?
Sadly,
I got his newsletter today. It said that Dr. Ford's allegations were preposterous.
because he's a scumbag just like the rest of them.
Trump is not the only problem in government.
No.
He's got a whole assortment of people following behind him that also need to go.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. We all know of women who have been assaulted by men.
Yep.
We know many women who have not come forward because they know that they will be re-victimized every step of the way in trying to get justice that they will probably not get.
It's okay.
We should all be angry. We should all be voting. We should all be encouraging people around us not to feel hopeless, to fill out those voter registration forms. I believe they're due tomorrow? Tuesday the 9th. Time is running out. Other states have voters who are being purged from the polls for absolutely no reason other than they are afraid of us voting them out of office. We need to make sure that we and our friends are registered and that we are showing up for this midterm in particular to let them know that we will not stand for this any longer. Thank you all for coming out.
You want to say something?
I want Julie to speak and then Ryan, but I want to say real quick again, what we face is fascism. Fascism. I'm not using it as insult or exaggeration, but it is what we face.
This is a definition in here.
It is the radically remaking of the way society is governed, the bludgeoning of the truth, the criminalizing of dissent. It relies and foments upon xenophobia, racism, and misogyny, and it will not be voted out. And that doesn't mean that people that vote shouldn't, but it does mean that we need to take to the streets and stay in the streets in growing numbers until they're gone. Because they've shown you they don't care about the rule of law. They've shown you that they don't care what the opposition thinks or says. But we gotta show them that there is a force in this country that is not gonna stop, that is not gonna back down, that is gonna drive them from power. So when I say Trump ends, you say must go. Trump ends,
must go.
Trump ends,
must go.
Trump ends,
must go.
Trump ends,
must go.
And when I say who's gonna drive him out, you say we are. Who's gonna drive him out?
We are. We are. We are.
That's right. Julie, come on out.
Who did it? Hi y'all, I'm good, thank you. I'm Julie, and I'm here today. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about getting who we know we need to get out of power, and I am absolutely for that. Trump must go, Pence must go, Kavanaugh cannot get on the bench. We all know this. But it is about so much more than that. So we're talking about how it has to come from us, that the power, where is he? Somebody earlier was talking about how we have allowed this, we have voted this in and talking about what power we have. And another power we have that people aren't talking about today, I haven't heard at least, is the power we have with making connections with one another. We cannot do this work in a meaningless fashion. We need to make meaningful connections with each other across our identities. We need to listen to each other, look at what we have in common, work with each other, even if it is not something that's going to directly affect us. Because it's going to affect our society, it is going to affect our culture, it is going to affect us. We need to create meaningful connections and do the work. We cannot go from the valley to the mountain. We need to do the climb, we need to do the work, we need to make meaningful relationships so that we can move towards our collective liberation. Thank you.
Thank you. Bry.
How everybody doing? We got Donald Trump in the White House. The important thing I want to say for the midterm elections that's coming up, we need to change the Senate and the House. Okay? Because if the powers that's in Congress can decide whether that man stays in the White House or whether he doesn't. They can impeach him in office. My other thing I want to talk about is the problem that goes on, like how she was saying. And I'd like to reiterate it. We need to start grassroots movements. I was one of parts of the Occupy movement. I was part of the Democratic Socialist movement. There are more people that's going to college that got student loan debts, okay, that's digging their way out of debts, okay, credit card debts. I was just talking to one of the members that came out and saw Trump speak. And the point that he's trying to make to me is that his company's doing good, okay? So what Trump is doing is pandering to the rich. I was just talking to somebody and they were saying that they just gave him a $33 million increase to the wealthy people. So listen, this ain't about race, this ain't about religion. It's about the wealthy and the poor people. But the middle class is falling to the poor.
Okay, as the cost of living goes up, okay, the wage doesn't move. Okay, the cost of living skyrockets. There are 1 million people out here that got jobs that can barely afford to live. Okay, so what we need to do is get together and have grassroots movements, come up with some type of solutions and ideas. We know what the problem is, but we need solutions. And like I heard somebody say, we need to vote during this time of this midterm election. Make sure that you hold the college electoral votes accountable for.
Anybody want to speak?
That's how this man got in the power. Okay, I want to leave on that note. Thank you.
Crystal, you need to speak. Hey everyone, my name is KYUKI. I'm an organizer with Refuse Fascism. We do have a plan. People don't agree with our plan, so we should talk about it more. But we do have a plan. Our plan is actually to build a non-violent resistance movement to stop Trump and Pence. And we're not talking about something in the hundreds or the thousands. We are talking about something that starts in the hundreds and thousands and actually goes to millions. The only way to really stop this whole fascist program is for millions of people in the street to repudiate this program and to actually say we refuse to go back. We refuse to accept the status quo. We refuse to accept the status quo now, and we refuse to accept the status quo that was in the 70s. We refuse to accept the status quo that was in the 40s, and we refuse to accept the status quo that was during the Civil War. That is the only way at this point. We have seen everything that we need to see this last 2 years. Trump has unleashed and told us very truthfully of what his program is. Pence has been very truthful about his fascist program. Every time there's an outrage, people are shocked, but it's not shocking because they have been very clear about what it is. What has not been clear for millions of people is to actually say, well, what are the solutions? And for millions of people to come together and build those kinds of relationships. We have a plan the next couple of days that we would love for everyone to join on. They should join us after this and grab the bikes and tea with us. But we're going to be doing outreach this weekend. We're going to be watching Fahrenheit 11/9. You should join us. We have a meeting on Sunday. Next week, we have an organizing blitz. All across the country, Refuse Fascism is a national organization, and we are going to be doing an organizing blitz. Why? Because actually millions of people don't know about us. Only a small section of people, and probably more of an activist grouping of people actually know that we exist. But we are actually appealing toward the millions of people who know in their heart that white supremacy is wrong, that misogyny is wrong, that homophobia is wrong, and that the only way to really stop this is to collectively come together and recognize our power. And so we need to reach out to those people. And many of those people are going to take a small step and maybe just forward this information or an email to their family and their friends. That is fun. Others can take a much more courageous step and come out here and demonstrate and organize in their community. All of those are welcome. But at this point, doing nothing is being complacent to this problem. This system does know the power that we have because they talk about it. The majority of these people in this country did not vote for Donald Trump. The majority of the people in this country may not agree with me, but they know that this is wrong. We have been taught, if you were born in this country, and if you have to actually become a citizen, you are taught this too, is that the only way to make change, and that the American exceptionalism, is because that we change power non-violently. That is a part of American exceptionalism, except that we've gone and plundered other countries to grab that land. But besides that, once the land is taken, American exceptionalism is a part of this. So we transfer power without violence, and that makes us so special. And we're saying here as we're watching, that if this is American exceptionalism, I want no fucking part of it. And I want to call on everyone to actually learn that and think about that. That if this is American exceptionalism, we need to draw the line that is not what we want about. I'm willing to work with everyone. Refuse Fascism has all different kinds of people out here. We don't all have to agree on everything, because we're not gonna. Shit, we probably all can't agree if they like, I don't know, Insecure episode 2. I mean, those are things that that's what should divide us. What actually should divide us is if you believe Trump and Pence must go. And if you think that they should, then we need to work together. That is the truthful and honest thing. You need to get a call. I know everyone makes a frown, but it is freaking long, and there's a reason that it's long, because it's getting into all the different aspects for why we need to drive out this program. In the call too, we also have a sign-up sheet. We're asking people to do a lot of different things if they want to be a part of stuff, because we're trying to make everyone organizers. You think I want to do this all the time on my day off? Well, I guess I do. But it is also that we need way more people. We need people that look like you. We need people that don't look like me. We need all kinds of people who look different, who aren't. We need anyone who wants to be a part of driving out this movement. And so my question for everyone is, what are you going to do? And not just like a man in the mirror thing, like, oh, I'm going to change my ways. No, what can we really do collectively? And what can you do to actually be a part of bringing forward this kind of movement? So you should get our call. I want to open this up still. If there's any last people that want to speak, anyone, there's your chance. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to read the Pledge of Resistance. Is it called the Pledge of Resistance?
You're wonderful.
I'm like, is it called the Pledge of Resistance?
Isn't she awesome? Give her a round.
I just like that.
How to make those connections and how to